I have a story for you. It starts about 12,000 years ago. It goes a little bit like this. Hey, it's a bit warm in here. It's a bit warm in here. Does it seem like it's heating up in your world? Have you realized that for the last 12,000 years, our ecology has remained exactly the same? And in that time frame, approximately 6,000 years of mankind has since transitioned our global world into a very new world, a world that we have shaped ourselves, and in that we have a personal responsibility of what's coming. Global warming. Perhaps a topic that nobody has covered for you before, perhaps something you know very well. But tonight, this discussion is about awareness. It's about becoming clear on the pathway that we're heading right now from a world that's transitioned since 1950, tripling its population to 7.5 billion people, well on its way to 9.5 billion people by the end of the century. As we're facing this crisis right now, global warming, would you call it any different? Hey, it's getting a bit hot in here. You know why it's getting hot? Because since 1950, the temperature of the planet has continued to increase every year at an almost exponential rate beyond what science could possibly understand. We're facing a world right now that has lost 40% of the global ice. The interesting thing about global ice, take a look at the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains are the water source, the watershed for half the population of the world. That's China and India, the two largest populations. What could happen if all the snows were gone? How about Mount Kilimanjaro? What if the snows of Kilimanjaro were gone? Well, they are. They've receded to 90% of what they originally were 60 years ago. That water source that was there for the country of Africa has now reduced to a level that could be creating a global conflict. Look at the effects of drought in Syria. What's happening to our world? We hear about the war in Syria, but do we see the effects of where that war came from? Do we understand the people's plight of what they're facing? Has global warming come to your household? Is it getting warmer? This is a topic that covers all of our lives. It's not just about one race, it's about the entire human race. What can we do to solve this global war on nature? Nature has given us everything we possibly needed. To view nature as a whole, you have to remove yourself back to outside of the planet. Yeah, you have to take yourself away from all those gadgets you know, from all that ego you know. You have to pull yourself back to what an astronaut would view of your world. Where do you stand? Where do you stand on a pivotal moment like today to make a change in the world of the lives around you? Oh, crank up the air conditioning. It's hot in here. Or no, this is wintertime. Crank up the heat. Do we know what we need to be doing? Is it just about our ego that we're feeding this incessant need to feed? Look at food population on the planet. 2/3 of all grain grown in this world is grown to feed food stock, i.e. cattle. We can do better than this. We can make a change with the resources we have, as in we already have those resources. It's just about management. What can you do to change? We all have the power to change. I know I've made changes. I look for ways to be conservative in my life, as simple as turning off a light switch when I leave a room. I look for other ways in my business to reduce water consumption to manageable levels. It's really about you and me making a change together. We have the ability as a team to challenge these problems that we're facing, whether you call it global warming, whether you call it an environmental change, it's here today. It's something we all have to deal with, and it's something that we're going to have to face together as a population of 9.5 billion people. While we can't solve this war on nature today, I believe the pathway forward is clear. It starts now. Each of us have the power to change. What are we waiting for?